Egypt's central bank says its devaluation of the pound is working, pointing to recent foreign inflows into the country. Bloomberg's Simone Foxman joins us now from Doha. Simone, I was just talking to Zaina Rizk a little bit about this, and the central bank clearly convinced that it's won not just the battle, but maybe the war.
Right, and her opinion is that this is just the beginning, and I think that's probably the overall economist opinion as well. So the central bank pointing to three things yesterday. One, as you mentioned, those foreign inflows, some $925 million worth of foreign exchange inflows since just January 11th, so just a couple days ago. The other, interbank trading activity at 20 times the normal daily average. The central bank says this is good. They also say that a rise in its foreign exchange reserves is a good thing as well. But, you know, you look at the devaluation of the pound over the past couple of weeks and the angst that this has caused in the general population, and you really have to say that all is not well here. And we see that particularly in what's happened with bread subsidies. So the government announcing a plan to expand who can buy bread at cheaper rates. Some 70% of the population already part of a bread subsidy program, so now we're seeing that widen. That itself has additional costs to the tune of 76% higher costs for the government. But people need food, people need wheat, people need bread, and so that's kind of how the government is going about trying to quell some of this anxiety.
Yeah, a terrible source of frustration in Egypt. In the meantime, let's get to the international criticism of Israel's new right-wing government. I mean, I'm looking at it and it's clearly growing. What's the latest?
Yeah, there's international criticism and there's also domestic criticism at home. So right now, the key international dispute is what's happening in the UN. We had more than 90 countries yesterday sign on to a message expressing their deep concern over some punitive policies that the new Israeli government has said it would impose against Palestinian people, mainly removing sources of some aid, canceling visas for senior officials. This is a response to a previous move by the UN to get an opinion from the International Court of Justice on the Israeli-Palestinian situation. But don't forget, we have different issues at home. Some 80,000 people turned out for protests in Tel Aviv over the weekend to protest changes the government wants to make to the judicial system. President Isaac Herzog, you know, he's not the head of state, but he does have a role in the Israeli government. He warned that he's trying to avert a historic constitutional crisis. That's what this, he believes, entails. Markets not really feeling this yet, but we'll see if they begin to do so in the coming weeks.
And then new data on Dubai property sales. It suggests Russian buyers continue to play a big role. Just how important are they to the bullish trend?
Yeah, so Better Homes found that Russian buyers were the top non-resident buyers of residential real estate in 2022, followed closely by the UK and India. So clearly very important in the market, important to this record amount of sales, some 86,000 transactions registered last year. That beats the last record that we saw back in 2009 of about 80,000 transactions. Notably, however, Russian money is not the chief residential buying. So these Russians don't necessarily live within Dubai. That title held by Indian buyers. UK buyers also feature prominently there, and then Russian buyers on that metric come in number 3.